Sunday, August 4th, and it was day 10 of 49ers training camp. Let's get into all the updates. Today, it was a non-padded practice, day before a day off, so the energy definitely matched that. There were a number of drops in team period. It was just a lighter practice all around. As far as the players that didn't participate today, you have Tay Martin, Jacob Cowing, Spencer Burford, Isaac Guerrero. Those guys remained out of practice. Logan Thomas and Mitch Wishnowsky have also missed the last couple of practices, and the 49ers have actually been trying out some punters after the last few practices. As of right now, we don't know what's going on with Mitch Wishnowsky, but that could seem to indicate that maybe his injury is going to keep him out for some time. But again, we don't know the severity of what he's dealing with, so just something to monitor right now. Others that didn't participate today: Darrell Luter, Sam Okweanonu, Elijah Mitchell, and Malik Turner. It was a rest day for Deebo Samuel today, his first rest day of entire training camp. It was very well deserved for him, and like I said, tomorrow the 49ers don't practice, so it's really a double day of rest for Deebo. Some guys who were there and worked on drills but didn't participate in team periods were Curtis Robinson, Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles, and Christian McCaffrey. As far as the quarterbacks, today was a solid day for Purdy, I must say. I mentioned the drops, but for the most part, I thought Purdy was putting the ball where it needed to go. He had a couple of throws into tight coverage, including one to Ricky Pearsall that I'll talk more about in a bit. He had a nice one to Juwan Jennings as well. It was to a nice spot on a rollout. Brandon Allen was okay today, had two near picks today though. He was trying to throw it to Eric Sauber on one, and D. Winters just kind of undercut it and should have caught it, honestly, but he dropped the pick. So good play by Winters there, and maybe Allen could have put it a little more ahead of Sauber on that one. The second near pick from Allen was almost picked by Taylor Hawkins. He should have had it as well. It was just blatantly dropped. Joshua Dobbs was okay as well today. Some misconnections again, but his best throw of the day was to Ronnie Bell, and I'll talk more about that one in a bit. As far as the running backs go, CMC was suited up. Like I said, he didn't participate in team drills. Elijah Mitchell wasn't with the team either, so we got a large dose of Jordan Mason, Cody Schrader, and Patrick Taylor Jr. And I like all of those guys. Like, Mason did have a drop today. It was on a short pass from Purdy, but aside from that, it was I think a clean day from all of them. As far as the wide receivers, like I mentioned, no Deebo today. Obviously, still no Brandon Ayuk. Matt Mayoko's article this morning was pretty interesting, wasn't it? But anyway, today was Ronnie Bell's best practice. Like, he has been stacking his days as of late. And if you guys recall, I think it was like sometime last week, I was like, I haven't seen much from Ronnie Bell. Well, I've seen plenty from him in the last couple of practices. He's definitely stepped his game up. He had a number of tough catches that he came down with today, including one where he had to go up and get it. And we've seen a few catches like that from him this week. That one was being covered by Rocky Sin, and he had good coverage, but Bell just kind of outwilled him and got up to get that ball. There was another one that was thrown from Brandon Allen that, he just kind of outmuscled the defender for. And so far, like, he looks pretty great working through contact at the catch point. There was another play that would have been a sack in a real game, but, they played through it. So Purdy rolling to the left, threw across his body, in between the hashes, super tight coverage to Bell. He was just very reliable today, and I think he's gaining the trust of all the quarterbacks as camp progresses. Ricky Pearsall got a few more catches under his belt today as well. One of them from Purdy, he had Lenore draped over him, but he sort of just used his body to shield Lenore away from being able to make a play on the ball. So I thought that was pretty savvy. There was another one from Brandon Allen that was thrown just a bit low, and Pearsall made a nice adjustment to make that catch. That one was against Rocky Sim. Juwan Jennings continues to look confident out there in practice, and he's been another guy that's been reliable. Chris Conley has been getting some more run as of late, and he looks like the same solid receiver we've come to know him as. I make the joke that it's like, who needs Brandon Ayuk when we have Brandon Ayuk at home, and it's literally just a picture of Chris Conley. So I think Conley's making a case for himself for sure. As far as the tight ends, Couple of light work catches for George Kittle, just another day in the office for him. Braden Willis, I will say, like, I think he's starting to round out a bit more as camp has gone on. He's another guy that, like, I kind of talked about his inconsistencies earlier in camp, but I got to give him his props. Like, the last few practices, he has looked way more comfortable, definitely stacking his days, and he's regained his footing, I think, to make this roster. He's making some key blocks as well, so he looks more confident in that part of his game, and he logged a couple of catches today too. Eric Sauber was quiet today, but I think he's also on track to make this team, and he'll be a nice option for them going forward. As far as the offensive line, I cannot say enough about Dominic Pooney. Like, he continues to be, like, just absolute nails working as the right guard with the first team. Like, I never even imagined he would look this good this quickly, I guess. He's been really impressive. As far as the centers, they've been kind of rotating a little bit. Obviously, Jake Brendel gets the start, but it would be like the next time that the first team would go up, then we'd see John Feliciano work as the first team center. So they were kind of like rotating a little bit. There's speculation that there could be a competition, but there's also speculation this could just be the team trying to keep Brendel or John Feliciano fresh. Yeah, definitely some interesting things going on. Nick Zakelj has been getting some second team snaps at center. With the injuries hitting the interior line as of late, the 49ers worked out 3 offensive linemen after today's practice. I don't know who those guys were, and I don't know if they'll end up signing any of them, but like I said, something to monitor. They're dealing with a number of injuries to the interior, so could be something they do. As far as the defensive line, Jordan Elliott continues to look like a really strong signing, and he'll be the backup interior guy behind Malik Collins. I think that has a potential to be a killer rotation between those two guys. There was one play where Elliott pancaked rookie Jarrett Kingston working at backup right guard. And I've mentioned him before. I'll mention him again. Austin Bryant continues to flash in camp during these team drills. He had a would-be sack today. Other guys with would-be sacks were T.Y. McGill, Nick Bosa. Bosa actually had at least 2 would-be sacks today. So he did get the better of Jalen Moore a couple times. Leonard Floyd also would have had a would-be sack. Those are just from the ones that I saw. I think there were a couple of others that I just wasn't able to catch who got them. Speaking of would-be sacks, Fred Warner would have had one of his own on a blitz up the middle. And I think he beat Brendel on that one, if I'm not mistaken. D. Winters played some will linebacker today. He also was in with the first team. He had a couple of tackles, and like I said, he put himself in position for a pick today on coverage against Eric Sauber. He got his hands on it, like he just couldn't reel it in. Jalen Graham also got some work with the first team as well, lined up as the Sam linebacker. Tatum Bethune, he came in on a blitz as well, so they were bringing in some pressure from the linebackers today. And as far as the DBs, Darrell Luter didn't practice, so Bernardo Green did get some extra opportunities. He was getting some looks at nickel today, and he was able to line up out there with the ones at some points of practice, so that was cool to see. It was a quieter day for Lenore as far as like playmaking goes, but he had good coverage. Like, it definitely was not for lack of trying, but I think the quarterbacks did take some chances today, and I think the receivers kind of did the quarterback some favors at times. Like, the receivers made some plays to get the ball. Same goes for Rocky Sin. Like, there were a lot of catches that happened in his coverage today. But like I said, it was good coverage. It's just that, the receivers made a play, and the quarterbacks kind of, put the ball in a good spot on those. Jair Brown had a couple of tackles to continue his strong camp. Taylor Hodgins had a near pick that he dropped. They'll probably be working on getting those catches on point on Tuesday when the team is back. They are off tomorrow, Monday. But look out for another rapid recap from me on Tuesday. But for now, peace.